Hi, everyone. Welcome to OWTV. My name is Renathra. I'll be your host for today. And today I actually have Hitori with me from Extinction. Hitori, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing really good. Thank you for having me here.
Well, thank you for being here. It's obviously the preseason, and before we get onto all the big games, I know a lot of people have things on their mind about the new season and your thoughts and the new competition. I think Extinction is a team that I think obviously is on the block, but maybe isn't as veteran as some of these larger teams. So it'll be good to kind of uncover all the things that you think and about the team. So first things first, I really wanted to talk about the roster changes. I know there's a couple players we lost and a couple of new faces. Could you tell me a bit about the changes in the team this season?
Yeah, so the offseason started off with we all know and all saw Rob retired to leave us for Marvel Rivals. It's kind of sad to have that the veteran player of the team that was acting as a father figure and a team figure, keeping everyone together and stuff like that, just retires after the season. But we were kind of prepared for it because we had a long talk about it, and Rob was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to keep competing and stuff like that," because he felt like he let everyone down in the last stage, especially with the new hero coming up. And then it just started off with us trialing different hit scans. We had PDK trial, we had a chopper for one block. We had all around every trial we gave other trials from Master also a shot because we were yeah, sure, let's give them a shot because we also had really weak blocks at the start because there was EWC, everyone was in Saudi Arabia scrimming, playing the tournament, so there was not really many OWCS teams playing. And that also left us on a really tight schedule because we had I think 11 days of scrims before roster lock because roster was on the 15th, which made it kind of hard to have long trials. But I'm pretty happy with how the team turned out. And then in the off season as well, then I went to Nightmare because we saw Lab got stolen to SSG, so there was kind of it was the mania for main supports. And then what a lot of people will probably be surprised is that Zomba went to Sakura. That was also just a kind of thing that Zomba had a trial block with Sakura, wanted to join them then. And we also were yeah, that's fine for us because Zomba was also on a 2-week holiday, during the off season, so it was also really hard to get scrims. But then we just called up with people. We had some EU trials. We had Sidewar trialing as well for Hitscan. On Flex DPS, then we approached King, who got to OWCS with Anomaly, who I think generally really highly of King. He's a really smart player and also really, really good mechanically. So it was a really easy choice that we pick up King. Then for main support, we had trials. We mostly had import trials that we were looking for. We had Donghang trialing, then Alba, we had Natsuki trialing, and Cinnabar as well. But we decided on Alba because we wanted to get Donghang in at the start because he was really, really good in IGLing and he really fit the team and pushed the team further to improve more as well, which I think is really, really important to have someone on your team that does that. But since he was playing in the qualifiers for OWCS Korea, he couldn't join before the roster lock. So then we just got Alba. I think Alba is also generally a really smart player and has a lot to learn because he's kind of inexperienced. But he's on a really good way and he's learning how to lead and fight plan really, really good. Then for Hitscan, we just went with Vision. He's I mean, there's not really an explanation that we need to do with Vision when he was competing was really good. Then he's just mechanically playing super well. He's smart. He's also not afraid to just talk about things if they're going wrong and stuff. So it's also super nice that you can just talk about problems openly and fix them instantly instead of everyone being quiet and then you're kind of just bashing your head into a boss situation if something doesn't work. So yeah, I was like really happy with how the roster turned out. And then as back support, we still have like Scuff because the Scuff is like also a really good player.
Yes, well, I mean, like you speak really highly about all your new teammates. I think that's really wholesome. And it sounds like you guys did really extensive tryouts as well. I know you said you had 11 days of scrims and go through that many people. That must have been very, very hectic. You mentioned a couple of players that you lost. So Zomba was one of them, and Wub, but like that veteranship. Have you felt kind of a different dynamic with your new roster? Like, has it been substantially different, or the vibe? Tell me more about kind of how it feels comparison to what it was before.
So before in the other Extinction roster, what we also talked about as a team together is every season we sit down, we talk about our goals as a team and our goals as a player, so that everyone is on the same page and stuff like that. And last stage, we were talking about how we want to break through the like 5th to 6th curse. So we want to go into the top 4, maybe make LAN, but we don't want to like just go at 5th to 6th again because I don't know, it's just like really, really depressing to just be stuck in 5th to 6th and not even have a shot of going LAN. But then we had a lot of like people struggling and school coming up and so they like didn't really show that what they said they wanted to get and what like was happening like aligned to each other. So we're like saying we want to hit top 4, but then people are like slacking off with like wadding and everything or playing ranked. So that was also an issue that we talked about. And I think in this team, like with the new roster, I don't think we're really gonna have that problem because everyone is already like playing a lot of ranked or like we all like wadding Korea. Everyone brings their own ideas in from what they see in Korea and what is getting played right now. And it's like, oh, let's try this. Or like we're talking openly about mistakes more to fix issues. And we also have our coaching staff that is more like making it so no one is slacking off the job, you know. So if you're kind of slacking off, you just like get like an ass beating. But it's like really nice. I really like the environment. So I think the environment is like just like completely different. I think it's just better. It just feels more like you're competing and everyone like has like the fire and the will to win.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's important for teammates to feel like they're standing shoulder to shoulder and working towards something together. Like it's always difficult with wavering motivations and kind of visions on how to play the game or their goals for the season. I'm sure, like you mentioned, your coaching staff helps a lot for that. Could you tell us more about them as well?
Yeah, sure. So as our head coach, we have Verlini still from last season. I think Verlini is a great coach, really smart, especially in like the macro aspect. Like even though that she is like a job that takes up a lot of time, she's still managing Overwatch really, really well, like everything together. She's so like in her break at her work, like 1 or 2 hour break, she's like watching codes, everything, helping everyone out here and there. I think it's really like you can really see that she's committed, even though she has like a job and doesn't even really need to do anything in Overwatch, but she just loves the game so much and loves competing. Then we have Fredo, who is mostly like micro coach. He's just like he was like a former player, but then went into the coaching role and has been coaching like Saudi E-League female and normal Saudi E-League, also in Europe mostly. So he's also getting used to the swap to NA, but I think it's really working well, and he's like a really smart player, like a coach with micro and stuff like that. And then as our other coach that we couldn't get as a player is we have Donghang, who's also just helping out here and there while he's playing in Pacific with Quattros Gapos. So yeah, he's really smart about the game. He's really like committed. He keeps everyone in check. He makes it so no one is slacking off. You know, he's also really straight up. So if you're in, he tells you like, "Yo, why do you do this? Why are you in?" And it's like it's just really nice to have someone like that because it just makes everyone to not slack off, and it also makes no one be afraid to like take flame or like get flamed, and it's just so good for like problem solving.
I love that. I think you have a direct line of communication with the coaches that obviously care a lot. Some might express it a little bit differently, but that is what it is. But yeah, obviously, like you're working with a lot of players from different regions. Then, like some of the staff roles, some of the player roles. Would you say that you've noticed any discernible differences between maybe culture or ways you guys see the game, and kind of the ways that might inform your team of how you're going to be approaching this new season?
I think we kind of see the game like in generally like aspect, we see it more like similar, but of course in detail everyone is going to see the game different. But I think that's what also is really good about mixed rosters. It's just that every like the EMEA players have a different way of seeing like the game detailed. The Koreans have a different way. The Americans have a different way. It's just like all the different ways how you can play Overwatch is like put together in a team. And if you work together and everything, you can find like a really good structure. That's why like coaches like Junkbug or Krusty, they liked mixed rosters, and they just made a lot of mixed rosters in Overwatch League because it just works really well. If you have different ideas, you're not going to be like a team that just only plays one way. You have like multiple ways you can play.
Yeah, I think in that way, diversity is your strength. So going into the new season with all these changes, like I really want to move towards talking about the new heroes, Wuyang and the perks and everything happening. I'm sure everyone has a lot of ideas about what's going to be strong and how to play the game with the what feels like millions of changes they've made. So let's talk about that. Like going into practice, I'm sure everyone's kind of experimenting right now. How's that been going for you? Like, has there been an outlier in what you think is strong? Have there been things where people are like, oh, maybe Brawl's gonna be really strong here, or Russia's gonna be really strong here, but maybe Wuyang's good, too good to pass up, and kind of curious to pick your thoughts on what's gonna be powerful.
So generally, I think Wuyang is really strong, especially in those like because Wuyang can be played as like a main support, but he's like more in a double flex support way, but has the survivability of like a main support, which is I think really broken. He's just like Brig because he's really good into D.Va, because he can pocket, his heals don't get eaten, his ward is like really broken to PL, he can live engages. So I think the meta is shifting more into like dive type thing with Ball Monkey mostly. A lot of teams in Korea are still playing the like Lucio Kiwi comp, which is the counter to Wuyang, I would think. But you can like ban it out really well, and on some maps it's really hard to get a connect on the Wuyang. So I just think generally the meta is shifting more into dive than it is into Brawl, especially with like the RAM nerfs, and Obisa also got 50 armor less, and D.Va is just kind of bad into like Wuyang and Break. So even if you ban Break, you can still play Wuyang and play around the D.Va and stuff like that. So he's like I think he has a really big impact on just the meta and everything.
Got it. So a strong pick, broken in your words. So definitely meta defining. Do you anticipate seeing him kind of must pick, must ban every type of map? Is he that powerful, or has your team kind of found that he's somewhere more like leans on the strong side, but not necessarily like, ooh, we have to play him every single map?
I think if two teams clash and they're like the same level of skill, the team that plays Wuyang would just mostly win than the team that doesn't play Wuyang. But it also just has a lot of micro aspects and everything. I mean, we saw from the Sia against Falcons match that Falcons, like they always do, just stick to the old meta, playing D.Va, Lucio Kiwi, playing Monkey here and there, also some Ram, and then you just see Sia playing the new hero with like Ana or Kiwi, and then mostly just Ball Monkey, and it's just really hard to connect onto like a Wuyang Kiwi or Wuyang Ana, especially on the most maps that are like in the web pool right now. But I think that Lucio Kiwi can work into Wuyang. It just depends from team to team. I think it's just what strength your team has and everything.
I see. So, I mean, from as a tank player, I mean, you don't get a whole new hero to play with this patch, but you do have a lot of new perks. You mentioned maybe D.Va's not so great into Wuyang right now, but there are other characters that got a bunch of new toys. So, in the tank pool, have you found that there's anything that's been noticeable for you? Like, I think obviously we've seen some ball played, and you mentioned Winston as well in the dive. Have those been characters you've been excited to play this patch?
Yeah, I'm really excited to play Baller Monkey. they're characters that have a really high skill ceiling, and you can just see if a player knows how to play them on a good level. And then about the new perks, especially for tanks. I'm experimenting with the monkey bubble throw perk, because if you use the bubble while you jump, it flies further because it keeps the momentum of the jump, which is really nice, especially against Ana Prick comp. And it's also consistent value, not like the primal perk. And then other than that, the Diva got really nerfed with the heavy rockets not being there. I think the other perk is good, but it's not that broken like heavy rockets are.
Gotcha. So sounds like, generally speaking, we're going to expect to see Hitori playing some monkey coming on this patch is what I'm hearing. So that leads us into expectations. So yes, besides seeing you on Winston, there are a lot of roster changes across all of North America in between stages, your team being one of them. So I guess as a preview, where would you say you put yourselves currently in power rankings?
Currently, I mean, we only been scrimming the lower OWCS teams yet, because we wanted to keep the higher ones once me and Alba are in NA and playing on low ping. Then we also are not scrimming Liquid because we have them in the second week. But from the next scrims that we have some blocks with SSG and GK and Nightmare, of course. So the last time we played Nightmare, I think we played pretty decently, but it was also before meta change. So I don't really know how to rate with the top teams yet. But on the lower teams, I think we should beat them confidently, as long as we play our game. And I think if we lose, we would just lose to ourselves.
I love the confidence, Hitori. Talking about kind of more of the quote lower team matchups, the underdog matchups, as I like to call them. I think your opening match is going to be versus the Dhillducks, who did struggle quite a lot last season. How are you guys preparing for that match, and what are your expectations going in?
I mean, our expectations is just a 3-0 sweep. They're not scrimming at all. We never scrim them. I don't really think that we should lose to them, or struggle against them, as long as we play our game. We're not really prepping for them. We're prepping more for Liquid, because that's going to be one of the harder matches that we're going to have. So the extra prep time that we have by playing Dhillducks really early on is, I think, quite nice.
Gotcha. So for anyone watching the Dhillducks game, expect it to move fast, and the meat and potatoes are in the Liquid game. Okay, I like that. Well, Hitori, I think I guess one last question for you before we sign off here into the big season. Extinction is not one of the larger teams, I would say, in terms of fan base, because some of these teams have been around forever, like your team Liquids or teams like that. If you were to give a message to your fans right now on the behalf of yourself and Extinction, what would you say?
I'm just really thankful for all the support we've been getting, especially in stage 2, even though we didn't proceed our expectations. The support was still really, really nice, and just keeps players going and everything. Even if players are struggling, if you have a fan base that supports you, it just keeps you going. It gives you more fuel and everything. So I just really appreciate every single one of the fans. Even though Extinction is not a big org, we still have quite a big fan base and getting really much support, more support than some other of the smaller orgs. And then in general, the Extinction org is really good. It's been one of the best orgs I've been part of. They the org owners, they just love Overwatch. They just invest in Overwatch because they love the game. They love to help other people, and especially give players what they deserve. So that's why it's really nice, since they're also flying me and Alba out for not only the playoffs, for the whole season, which is going to be 3 months. So I think it's just the best org I've been part of, and I have really nothing to complain about.
Wow, I mean, that's really refreshing to hear, a bunch of positivity. Honestly, yeah, I think that might have made me a fan coming out of this interview. So Hitori, if that's worked on me, I'm expecting it to work on a lot of others that watch as well. I want to say thank you so much for your time, and good luck for your initial match against Dhillducks. We'll all be watching. Coming from me and OWTV, we'll be signing out, but see you all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.